we all have our different pain points. I find that a lot of the times when we share them and kind of talk about them, that people can really relate to it and kind of get ideas to help with their own personal struggles.
I love bookkeeping.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for listening to the I Love Bookkeeping podcast. My name is Hannah Robinson.
And I'm Melissa Honan.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we're going to be continuing our niche interview series, and we're going to be chatting with Brooke Swan. I know you guys have probably heard of her if you're in the bookkeepers.com community, but if you have not, let me tell you a little bit about Brooke. She is the owner and CEO of Clarity Bookkeeping and Consulting. She started her firm in 2018 after completing the Bookkeeper Launch program with the goal of helping business owners not only understand their finances, but enjoy a better work-life balance and help them build the business of their dreams. Through her advisory services and creative strategic approaches, Clarity has helped hundreds of business owners reach their goals and even enjoy accounting. Brooke has a firm belief in efficiency and working smarter, not harder. As much as we love our work, we work to live, not the other way around. These core values have been a guiding principle in growing and scaling her firm. Her firm operates on a 4-day week, and full-time employees only work 32 hours per week. Clarity strives to use the same principles to help their clients scale their business while enjoying their life. She has been featured on the I Love Bookkeeping podcast, has coached other bookkeepers, and really has a burning desire to help others live their most fulfilled life and reach their full potential. Brooke, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That is quite the bio. I feel like everybody we interview, I'm like, that is such an incredible bio. Because Melissa and I struggle writing ours so much, but you have a pretty impressive resume. Can I ask, for those who don't know, what is your niche?
Yeah, sure. And thank you. I don't know how I whipped that one up. Maybe someone else wrote it for me. We don't know. But yeah, so we specialize in service-based businesses, but more specifically, we specialize in trades and construction and also real estate.
Wow. That is I feel like that's a lot. That industry covers kind of a lot.
Yeah, it really does. It wasn't like an intentional plan. Like I never sought out to specialize in multiple industries. It just kind of evolved. So we started with the service-based businesses. And then from that, we just started working more exclusively with trades. And then next thing you know, we had a ton of real estate clients. And so now we just kind of specialize in a little bit of everything.
That's amazing. So just kind of, I know you've been on this podcast before, but for anybody new who is listening, can we kind of go back a little bit to the beginning, and can you share with our listeners how you got started and how long you've been in business?
Yeah. So I joined the Bookkeeper Launch program in March of 2018. And I think I finished it like within a month. I kind of stumbled into the program. Yeah, I like just jumped in and I don't know. I was not, where are words today? I'm so sorry.
You're totally fine. You hauled ass right through that program.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just like jumped in with both feet and just decided to commit to it. I kind of stumbled into the program when I was looking for, I wanted to work from home and I wanted to do something that involved numbers, and I stumbled across the program and, I got hooked on those first few videos and just decided it was the thing for me. So I went full force. I opened my business about a month after that. And so we've been in business now a little over 4 years. And it's always so funny it's not often that I've listened to my podcast from a few years ago, but when I do, it's so crazy because it's just so different. Like I was in such a different place. And if you would have told then me where my business would be now, I would have totally thought you were crazy.
Well, I guess speak on that. So where is your business now? So it's not just you anymore. What does your team look like?
Yeah. So during the last podcast, I think I was talking to Ben about like who to hire and, like who to hire first and all those things. And at the time I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this forever. It's just going to be me. Like, I don't really want a team. I just love bookkeeping, but now it's a little different. So now I have a team of 6 7 or 8 of us.
Wow. I love when people don't know, because that's where I'm always like, I don't know. Let me count them real quick.
Yeah, I feel like
so 7 or 8, are those all bookkeepers?
No, so they're all a little bit different. And yeah, I feel like after 2 or 3, you just lose track. So we have 3 bookkeepers, an account manager. I have an operations manager, a VA, and a marketing assistant. I don't know how many that is, 7 or 8.
Wow, that's incredible. So how many clients are you currently serving?
That's also a great question. So
Ballpark.
Yeah, ballpark. I think we're at about 50 right now, but we do a lot of one-off. Those are like our monthly clients, but we do a lot of one-off services as well. So that number kind of fluctuates each month.
That's awesome. So it sounds like your niche kind of found you, and it was kind of an organic process to niching your business. So how long were you in business before you decided to serve a specific industry, or industries for that matter?
Yeah, that's a great question. It definitely chose us, because I honestly didn't think I would ever like niche down, because I didn't know how to decide. And so it definitely chose us. And I'd say we probably really started specializing and even maybe excluding clients that aren't in our niche, probably about 2, maybe even 3 years in. It took a while to commit.
Yeah. Well, but it kind of sounds like it's kind of nice when things seek you out, so that it almost made the decision for you. Like, this is what you're good at serving. What's your favorite thing about having a niche?
Oh, yeah. I think my favorite thing about it is just when I get to talk to, other business owners or like potential clients that are in that industry. I just feel a lot more confident in knowing exactly what we need to do to take over their accounting and their bookkeeping. And usually we have a lot more knowledge than they even have, because they don't know anything kind of related to that side of their business. So it's really nice just knowing exactly what we need to do for them and how we need to do it. And so it makes it, I think it just makes it very easy, because we already know what we're walking into,
So as a follow-up question, so you said you have about like 50 like recurring clients. What is your recurring revenue right now?
Oh, yeah. Recurring revenue right now is, I think, about 27,000 per month.
Wow, 27,000. And you said that you guys do a lot of one-off services. So what are those one-off services, and how do you organize that, I guess, and with also having like monthly recurring clients?
Yeah, great questions. So as far as the one-off services go, so we do a lot of consulting. And so the consulting is more like a hired, like a fractional CFO, but when we're not actually doing their bookkeeping. So sometimes we have clients who like they already have a bookkeeper, but maybe they're not getting a lot of information from them, or their bookkeeper doesn't even know how to explain the financials, or do any kind of deeper dive into their business. So they'll hire us to come in and kind of review that with them and strategize to help get them to wherever it is they want to go. We also do diagnostic reviews, which is where we will kind of audit the books if someone already has a bookkeeper, or maybe they're doing their books themselves. We also do cleanups, of course, right? But sometimes those clients are just like a one-time client. They don't always transition to monthly. They just say, hey, we want our books cleaned up. We got to file taxes or whatever. So we have those as well. And then we also do a lot of QuickBooks setup and training. So that's usually more for like the business owner who is new and maybe, has a smaller budget and maybe can't afford or doesn't want to hire a full bookkeeper yet, but they want to have something in place. So we set their books up for them and teach them how to use it. And
awesome. And for your fractional CFO services, do you have any type of certification outside of BBL for that? How did you get into doing, I guess, fractional CFO, and is there anything extra that you needed for that?
Yeah. So at this time, we don't have any, I guess, additional certifications, but we are working on them. And this is kind of a part of our business that we're exploring more. Again, this was kind of, I think, something that came out of necessity and also just kind of my own, I think, my own skill set. So I've always been very good at kind of taking numbers and figuring out what to do with them and how to do things. So I'm actually working on how to kind of document and systemize this so that way other people in the firm can do it as well. But I pretty much tailor my approach for each business. So it kind of looks a little bit different for each business owner, depending on what they're looking for. But we did do the advisory intensive, back in, what was that, September 2019 through Bookkeeper launch. And I think that really helped kind of propel that part of the business. But yeah, we're continuing to kind of just explore more training and just become even better in that department.
Do you find that adding services to your business has it been a challenge? Because I know that a lot of people listening, they start off as just bookkeeping and then they kind of add on all these different services. What's been your biggest challenge with that?
Yeah, probably. Well, I guess these days, I think my biggest challenge is that a lot of these things, these additional services that we do, I've always been the only one doing them. So that's been a big challenge for me, was not either documenting or setting up the right systems in place so that these additional services could be done by other people on the team. Although we're working on that now. But yeah, I mean, I never, when we started the firm, I never planned on having all these additional services. I mean, I think just like most people, we started with bookkeeping and everything else kind of came out of necessity. Like it just came by demand. Clients were asking for this or that, and eventually enough clients asked for the same thing. And then you just begin offering it. And I think another struggle is, of course, like pricing, right? Like pricing those services. It's like, because especially with some of the like one-off, like the consulting, it's like, well, do you charge your hourly rate or do you charge a higher fee because it's a higher, because it provides a lot more value than like your typical, I don't know, whatever you would typically do for your hourly rate. So those are probably the biggest.
And how do you price those? Do you normally have like a starting opening kind of fee, or do you usually go hourly if it's something new?
Yeah. So they all have a fixed fee. And if I'm being brutally honest, I keep testing out new ones just to see what the people will accept.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what will they?
That's what you should do.
What will the people pay me for this? So they
just keep raising it until they say no, bro.
That's kind of that's what we've been doing. Yeah. So I'm trying to be a little bit better about value pricing those like one-off services rather than like we've been pretty good about it with our monthly bookkeeping, but yeah, definitely just been trying to be better about it with the one-off services and realizing that what we give, even though it might only be an hour or maybe even less, the value that's jam-packed in that time is worth way more than whatever hourly rate is.
Today's show is brought to you by Keeper, the one app to run your bookkeeping business. Keeper helps you get faster client responses with your own custom branded QuickBooks integrated client portal. Finally, you can say goodbye to those pesky spreadsheets full of uncategorized transactions. Keeper also helps you catch those embarrassing coding errors before your clients do. And with Keeper, you can generate beautiful custom reports that your clients will absolutely love to read. To find out more, go to keeper.app. That's keeper.app. Mention I Love Bookkeeping to get 20% off your first 3 months. Again, go to keeper.app to find out more. Thank you for listening.
What's been, so, I guess you kind of serve, when I think of your niche, like you have a few that you serve and you kind of concentrate down on. What's been, I guess, your favorite thing about serving the different niches that you work with?
Oh gosh. I love all the things.
All of the things.
Yeah. I think what I really like about the industries that we serve, specifically with trades and real estate, is their bookkeeping is very detailed. We use a lot of job costing. We use a lot of like class tracking. We do a lot of customized reports so that way the clients can see profitability on certain things. So I love the detail in the bookkeeping that sometimes isn't there with like, I don't know, more general businesses, I suppose.
Yeah. So you're very detail oriented, it sounds like.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you have to be if you're going to be in the finance industry or you're going to be a bookkeeper. But not it doesn't come naturally to everybody. So it sounds like that's maybe a forte of yours, that you're naturally a more detail oriented person. What's been like a pain point for you when it comes to serving your specific niche? Because I think a lot of our listeners, and our newer students and even our more seasoned students, I think we all have our different pain points. And I find that a lot of the times when we share them and kind of talk about them, that people can really relate to it, and kind of get ideas to help with their own personal struggles.
Yeah. So I guess there's a couple things. So I think in any niche where, like I said, there's a lot more detailed, bookkeeping or reporting that's going on, there's always a little bit of a struggle in getting that information from the clients. So the best way I've found to kind of combat that is have the right systems and tools in place so that it's really easy for them to get on board, which then in turn makes things easier for you and your team to get the work done. Because I'm sure Melissa knows that people just love uploading receipts and putting job names on them. It's a thing, and no one ever struggles with this.
No. Well, I will say too, is actually Brooke is the one that recommended me to Content Snare. So is that still what you guys are using over there to get information from your clients?
Yes. Yeah. So not so much receipts, but we use Content Snare, and I actually just did I just presented it to Alyssa Link's breakthrough students this past 2 weeks ago.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, but I love it. I'm obsessed with Content Snare. It has really solved a ton of problems in our firm, and as far as collecting documentation from clients and just keeping tabs on what we collected and not collected. So it's been really, really great.
That's awesome. Are there any other kind of tools or different kind of software tools that you use that are specific to your niche that help you out?
Yeah. So for some of our construction clients who have people who are spending out in the field a lot, we use Divvy, which is just a fantastic it's a tool, but it's also like a credit card line of credit. But it really allows it allows your client to kind of control spending, but also it ensures that their team is always uploading receipts, always putting job names and things like that, basically always getting you the information that you need to do your accounting, but it's also keeping tabs on making sure that they're spending what they really should be spending and nothing that goes above and beyond. And so it's been a really, really great tool for people who have employees that are spending in the field that maybe they can't keep tabs on or keep tabs well. I think that's really been the biggest one that has helped us.
That's really cool. I actually haven't heard of that before, so I'm definitely going to look into that. Since you kind of have several niches, I always just think of you in the construction niche because then I can send you referrals. And so, but I didn't know you did real estate, so watch out for some more. But where are you finding clients right now for either construction or real estate? And what is your marketing plan, if any, right now?
Yeah. So we've found most of our clients, I would say the vast majority, through networking. So from the very beginning of the business, I joined a local networking group. That's actually where I found my first client, and probably the next 10 or 15 after that. After that, I joined a different networking group. Now I'm in a BNI, which I've been in for a couple years, and BNI has just been fantastic. So most of our clients do come from networking. I would say probably about 80%. But now that our business has kind of been established for a long time, now I'd say we probably get another 10%, just from websites and local Google searches. And then the other 10% are usually from, current client or past client referrals or other kind of referral partners. But yeah, I know there's different things that I think work for different people. So you got to find what marketing technique works best for you. I learned kind of right off the bat that I love networking, and I'm pretty okay at it. So, we've been in BNI for the last 2 years, and our business has, I think, tripled in those 2 years. Yeah, just and it's all pretty much because of the referrals from that group. So
that's something we actually don't hear a lot from not only Melissa and I, but people that we interview, is that you enjoy networking and that you're really good at it. That's kind of unique because I feel like in this industry, there are so many more introverts than there are extroverts, and networking is like a big pain point for people. Have you always been good at networking? Like, have you always enjoyed it?
No. It's okay. Even some days I still don't.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely a love-hate. Cause I like to say I'm like a trained extrovert, but I'm naturally an introvert. Like if it was up to me, I would just go like hide under a rock and just be quiet all the time, and I would be totally happy. But with the networking, I feel like it's more about the approach you take to it. So I feel like if you go into those things thinking like, oh, I need to sell them, like I need to have this sales pitch or sales voice or whatever, like I feel like it kind of makes it a little more stressful and like not enjoyable. But I feel like when you go into it with kind of like an open mind of like, hey, I'm just here to kind of connect with other people, build relationships, like, you know, how can I refer them business? Like, who do I know that can help them? You know, like when you think of it more of a, I guess in that way, like, how can I support these people? I feel like it naturally comes back to you. But no, I mean, so I love my BNI group, but I swear half the time I'm like, I'm just going to quit. I'm tired of talking to people. But I try to just, you know, it's only like an hour and a half a week. Right. And then, you know, you meet people outside of that. And I know the benefit that it's given me. And even just knowing all the other people in like our chapter, like I have so many referrals, like for like when my clients come to me and like, hey, like, can you help me with my HR? Like, no, I absolutely can't, but I know someone who can. So like, it's just been really beneficial because I've kind of become that go-to, like, oh, I need someone to do this. I'll like ask Brooke. Like, so it's been really good for that. And I think it just takes practice and just takes an open mind and more like a genuine, just, hey, how can I get to know these people? And like, how can I help them? You know?
That's awesome. Well, and it's funny because we just recorded another interview with Tyler Otto before you, and he talked about something similar about it takes the pressure off if you're not trying to sell a product and you focus more on connecting and building relationships. And we talk about that all the time here too. Like networking events and networking opportunities can be really stressful if you kind of put this pressure on yourself to sell your product and to get more clients. But if you kind of turn it around and focus more on connections and relationships, that it ends up being a lot more beneficial because people recognize that you care. So I guess in your specific industry, it sounds like you do a lot of, you know, construction and real estate. Do you actively seek out in your marketing? Do you actively seek out like where they would be in person or where they would be on social media to kind of get in front of them?
No, I've actually never done that.
Okay.
I probably should, and I'm sure it would help as far as bringing in new clients. But we've had kind of a really consistent stream of like new clients coming in the last few years. So we haven't, like, I just haven't felt the need to like go out.
Right. And, right. Do you find that that's kind of a pain point, or maybe not where your industry hangs out as much as online? It's kind of more of an in-person and referral type business.
I don't know. That's hard to say. I mean, there definitely are places where they hang out and, you know, different conventions and things like that. And it's not, I guess I haven't really tried to ramp up so fast that like to where I wanted to go and, you know, try and get a bunch of new clients at once. And to be totally honest, as the
It's a terrible idea.
Yeah. You know, we've been really like, we've had so much growth in the last like 6 months. I've been just trying to like manage this and like just make sure we're, you know, have everything built out just to support the natural growth that we already have, that I really couldn't imagine like a super large influx of clients. I think I would have a panic attack.
Do you feel like at this point in your business, is it more important for you to, well, obviously you just said a big influx of clients is overwhelming, but is it more important for you right now to get new clients or add services to your existing clients?
I would say probably get new clients.
Okay.
We try really hard when we quote like new clients to make sure that we're quoting exactly what they need. So if they need all the bells and whistles, we quote that, but just some people don't. So we don't necessarily need to add extra things.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's mostly just like right now it's getting new clients, but also making sure that like our team has the right systems to support like extra, additional growth, right? So that way if we're bringing on new clients, there's people that can, onboard them and do their bookkeeping and, no one's overloaded or at their capacity.
That's great. And just to plug real quick, for those of you that are going to be there at BKX, Brooke is actually going to be speaking. Brooke, what are you speaking on at BKX?
Yeah. So I'm speaking on how to grow a 6-figure firm working part-time.
I love that. I'm really looking forward to that. And just to, again, steal this from Hannah, again, to wrap this up, would you mind giving us one piece of advice, one tip for new bookkeeping business owners? If you had to give them one thing that you recommend, what would that be?
Okay. So I think like one thing I always tell people is that you don't need to, especially when you're new, like you don't need to be confident in your skills right off the bat. Like you just need to be confident that you can find the answers to anything that comes up.
That is a great piece of advice. That's an awesome piece of advice because I feel like a lot of people get, especially in the beginning stages of starting their business, they kind of get bogged down with the lack of confidence.
Yeah, it happens a lot. So, and we have like such an awesome group, right? With Bookkeeper Launch, like there's so many people to lean on. So it's like, even if you don't have the answer, like someone does, or someone you can get in contact with does. So,
well, it's something that we talk about. I feel like I talk about in a lot of episodes, and we actually just spoke about this in our previous episode, but I found that the bookkeeping community, especially the bookkeepers.com community, is so inclusive and doesn't really have any gatekeeping as far as information and sharing knowledge goes. So I think that's something really awesome. And that's like a great perk of being a bookkeeper that I don't think anybody really knew about until they kind of enter this community. And there's so much knowledge to be shared. And there's so much knowledge that people do share. If you guys have more questions for Brooke, please shoot us an email at success@ilovebookkeeping.com. Again, that is success@ilovebookkeeping.com. Brooke, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. I'm Hannah Robinson.
And I'm Melissa Honan.
And thank you for listening to the I Love Bookkeeping podcast.
I love bookkeeping. Here's a little shout to all my friends working hard at keeping the books. You want to change your life, you want to grow that biz, it's